Like the scientific method, there is another important area in research methodology. In the scientific method, we are actually going to number of different steps, starting with observation. Then we have asking question, formulating hypothesis, then making a experiment. These are some of the major steps in a scientific method. Now today what we are going to see is literature review or review of literature. In both way you can say what. So coming to literature review, here you can find in a nutshell what are the important purpose or aims of the literature review. Basically we are seeking, for example you are studying about butterflies of Kerala. The first thing that you will be doing is that you will be checking the previous literature. You may go to some library or you will check in Google study of butterflies of Kerala. So if somebody has done any work previously on that area, the Google will bring you a lot of paper or a lot of other research contents which may be useful to you. So after spending a few hours or few days in searching the Google, you will come to know that certain individuals or certain persons have conducted some research work on the butterfly diversity of Kerala. And they have also discovered that around 200 or 300 butterflies are already present in Kerala. And they are the most common type of butterflies. This information you will be collecting after spending some time with either in the library or nowadays students don't go to library much because most of the information that used to be provided to the library are easily available by using a Google search. So by simply Google search you will be able to understand what are the previous works which has been conducted on this particular area. And this is what in a simple terms known by the name literature review. You are checking what are the previous works, what are the former work, or what are the earlier studies on this particular area. So that is what we are basically doing in literature review or review of literature. Here you can see that it describes how the proposed research is related to prior research. There are a number of important names are there. What is prior research, earlier research? What has been already conducted or already done on that particular field. For example, if it is a butterflies of Kerala, so some individuals or some researchers have already done some work on that area. That is a prior research. Now you are going to study in detail about the butterfly diversity of Kottayam district. So you by simply spending some time in the internet, you will be able to understand that around 300 butterflies are already known from Kerala. But most of these are known basically from northern areas of Kerala or from southern areas of Kerala. So number of butterflies already known from the Kottayam districts are very limited in number. If you are coming to this conclusion like that, then you will find that there is some scope. There is a scope that though 300 butterflies are known from Kerala, only 100 butterflies are presently known from Kottayam district. That means there is some gap of 200. So if you are making an intense study on that particular area, you may have a feeling that you will be able to uncover, you will be able to discover some more species of butterflies in Kottayam district. Then it will be a new contribution. So what you are going to do in a previous literature review is that you are actually connecting your present research with the previous research and telling that my present work has this scope because already a very little data is available on this particular area. So whenever you are doing a research, for example you are going to do a PhD, the university team, there will be a team of experts there. They will be asking you what is the relevance or what is the importance of your work. Then this is how you are proving that based on the current knowledge, this is what we are already known. This is what is already known about this group in the so far. And based on that, I believe that there is a scope. For example, if you are examining as in the use of butterflies of Kottayam district, if there is a scope, that scope is what you have to mention to undertake a research. For example, you already know that there are 300 butterflies in Kerala, and already 300 butterflies are also known from Kottayam district. Then if you are spending the time for that for 1 or 2 years, there is absolutely no meaning in doing that. It's simply a repetition of work that has been already conducted by someone. Science doesn't encourage that kind of repetition of work. It is simply a wastage of time. So whenever we are going for a work, it is important that We have to prove to the community, or we have to prove to the team of experts that this work is important. So this is how we are doing. Second, it shows the originality and the relevance of your problem. So as in the case of butterflies, I think I have that point is very clear. It justifies your proposal methodology. For example, you are going to study about butterfly diversity of Kerala or Kottayam district. There should be some method. Most of the time, what you will be doing, you will be going to different field. For example, wherever flowers are there, you will be visiting those gardens, or you will be visiting some park, or you will be visiting some green areas. So wherever possible, the butterflies are common, you will be visiting those areas. And what you will be mostly doing, you may try to photograph it. That is one type of methodology. You will photograph it, or you will take a video of it. So taking photographs and taking video, it's one important methodology commonly adopted by most of the scientists. Then there will be another method. What is the second method? You will be collecting it. How you will be collecting it? You need some net or something. So using some net, butterfly net, you will be able to collect the butterflies. Then after collecting the butterflies, what is the importance of collecting the butterflies? Because most of the time, if it is an unknown species, unless you take a detailed examination under the microscope, we won't be able to identify that butterfly properly. So identifying the butterfly sometimes needs a proper specimen. So only if you have the proper specimen with you, a complete specimen with you, you will be able to identify the butterfly. So there is a methodology how to collect the butterfly. How you should examine the butterfly. What should be the equipment that you are using? For example, in the case of a butterfly examination, the normal microscope may not be very effective. So in my lab there is a different type of microscope. So microscope that you are using is known as a common microscope. There the light is coming from the down. Okay, you might have noticed that light is coming from down. But in the case of stereo microscope, the light will be coming from upper side, and it will be illuminating the butterfly from the top area. Otherwise, if the butterflies are illuminated from the lower area, you won't be able to see anything. So that kind of different type of microscope known as stereo microscope. These stereo microscopes are used for examination of butterflies or insects. So that kind of microscope is needed. Then you need to preserve it. How you will be preserving? If you go to a museum, you can see that the butterflies are pinned there in some different boxes. And they are also using some naphthalene balls also there. What is the purpose of the naphthalene ball? To prevent the spread of fungus, to prevent fungus from damaging the butterfly. So this is a methodology that is presently used by many scientists, many researchers. And you are also going to use the same methodology. For example, you are going to use, you are not going to use this methodology. Instead of that, you are saying that I am only going to photograph it. Sometimes the team of experts may approve it. For example, you are going to work on a very endangered species of butterfly. It's very small number of butterflies are out there. And in the name of research, if you are going to collect all the remaining butterflies, that will be damaging the already remaining population. So that may not be acceptable. So in such an area, sometimes you propose that I am going to collect all these butterflies. Then the team of experts may not approve that. They will say that you are doing a great injustice to the already remaining population. So sometimes our methodology has to be modified depending on the situation. Sometimes collection may be advised. Sometimes collection may not be advised. So this is how you are going to do. That is a methodology. Then it demonstrates your preparedness to complete the research. What is your mental preparation? For example, for next year you will be going to do studies like this. Most of the time you may be doing some biodiversity studies because they are the most cheapest way of doing a research. Because in other areas you have to spend more money, more equipment will be needed. But so majority of students will be going for some studies related with the biodiversity. So when you are doing that, you are also doing something. You will be going to museum and checking what has been done on that area, how the specimens are preserved there, how many non-butterflies are already there. So based on that, after spending 1 or 2 weeks, you will know that this is what is already known. This is how other students have done. So I should also make a plan like this. I should also visit certain areas. For example, most of the time when you are doing a research work, your research will be limited to one certain particular area. For example, you want to study at the butterflies of Kerala. It may not be possible because you don't have the time for that, visiting different states, different districts in Kerala. It may not be possible. Even if you think about visiting different taluks in Kottayam district, sometimes it may not be possible because you may get only 1 month or 2 months maximum, sometimes 3 months. So it may not be possible for you to visit all the places in Kottayam and make a detailed study. So there will be, so most of the time when you go with this plan, the teachers will say it won't be practically possible because visiting these different places may not be possible. So they will ask you to limit your studies to certain particular area. For example, only the Talu, or for example, in the Panchayat area. For example, you are coming from Aikam area, or you are coming from certain areas of Gorvalanga or Kaduthuruthi. They will ask you to limit your studies to your own panchayat. So that will be more easy. So by that, by limiting your study to one particular area, you will be able to conduct more intense, more deeper, more accurate studies on that. So that is what is, so it demonstrates your preparedness to complete the lesson. What is your preparation? What is your work you have done to study about the previous work that had been conducted? How many different species of butterflies are already known from Kerala region? How many butterflies are already known from Kottayam district? This knowledge is your preparation. So if you are going to the field with this preparation, immediately after seeing a butterfly, you will be able to tell them this is this particular butterfly. So for example, if you are going to butterfly, there are different families of butterfly. Some are known as yellows, some are known as whites, some are known as the tailed butterfly. So different types, some type of butterflies are known as browns. So simply looking at the field, if you see a brown butterfly, you will be immediately understand this belongs to the family of brown butterflies. And there is one particular family. Most of the time there is Nymphalidae or Saturnidae. So this is how you are getting a preparation for your lesson. So that preparation is very important. Then identify new ways to interpret prior research. How new ways to interpret prior. For example, nowadays biodiversity research is getting more and more complicated. Earlier what the scientists are doing is that they will be going to different field and they will collect butterflies from different areas of Kottayam. They will say this butterfly from Kaduthuruthi area, this butterfly from Gorvalanga area, this is from Koda area, this is from Monipur area, this is from Pala area. That is the method they are using. Nowadays more deeper or more technical knowledge is, for example, you know what is GPS. So if you take a photograph here and you go to the properties of the photographs, you know how to take the properties of the photo. And in that there is an action of details. Under the details, if your location is enabled in your phone, they will show the GPS location. So that GPS location is a very valuable thing. So that is honest. So nowadays, whenever we are asking for to submit some photo to NAC or college, they will ask for GPS tagged photo. It is an attempt to prevent fraud or manipulation of data. Otherwise, what the people will do, they will take photographs of some festival conducted 5 years back and submit it as the present photographs conducted in this year. So that to avoid such kind of problem, nowadays GPS tagged photos are becoming compulsory. So when you take a GPS tagged photo or using a mobile phone, most of the time if your location is on, it will immediately show the location. So if you are using that, so by that method, for example, earlier you don't know, you take a photograph from Kaduthuruthi area, you take another photograph from Pala area, you take another photo from Kurvalangad area. For a normal person, these are two different areas in Kottayam district. Now there is a present technology. If you are using the GPS location of Kaduthuruthi area, Pala area and Kurvalangad area, and you put it in the Google map, you can immediately tell that this butterfly and this butterfly are reported from widely areas separated by this much kilometer. How far, what is the distance between the non-distribution of these three butterflies? That is possible. So because even with the knowledge you can using your mobile phone, it can be very easily conducted. So that is known as a GPS tagging. So based on that, biodiversity studies are becoming more and more GPS tagged. So that what is the advantage of that? Earlier you are telling that I have collected a butterfly from this area, maybe only from Karuthurthi area. Now you are not doing like that. You are telling that this is from Karuthurthi area and this is a GPS location. So after 50 years, another scientist is coming to investigate that. So he know that this is a GPS location and he can correctly go to the correct locality from which house that butterfly has been collected and check there. And if he is finding there is no butterfly of that particular species 50 years later, then that will be a great discovery. Because that scientist can then tell that this butterfly was used to live in this particular home area about 50 years back. Now it has been extinct from here. So that is how the present knowledge, the present research is becoming more deep, more complicated. So by nowadays, this is how most of the time the biodiversity research is going on. It becomes more, a lot of satellite information are also available. Then there are also certain maps called QGIS maps, and these QGIS maps are all satellite maps, and which you can download it from your computer, and you can input the location of each butterfly species into the GPS map, so that if you give to somebody else, they can immediately tell this butterfly is from this area and the nearest known butterfly of this species is from this area. So these are very great information. So this is how we are converting a simple research into a more useful research. Now, second is the reveal any gaps that exist in the literature. For example, when I started the talk, I told you that earlier 300 species of butterflies are known in Kerala. And from Kottayam district, we only 100 species of butterflies are known. That means there is a gap of 200 butterflies in Kottayam district. That knowledge is known by the name research gap. So identifying the research gap is one of the first steps in going for a study. So research gap, identifying that. So only if you know what is already known about one particular area, you will be able to tell what are the gaps available, or gaps in knowledge available in that area. If you don't know anything about the butterflies of Kerala, you won't be able to identify that there is a possibility for a deeper study in this particular area, in this particular field. So only if you know what is known, or only if you made a thorough study of what is already known, then only you will be able to tell that there is a possibility, there is a good scope for making a detailed study on this area. So this is known as a research gap. Then resolve conflicts amongst seemingly contradictory previous studies. And resolve conflict, for example, I will tell you one case that we have already said that there is only 100 species of butterflies in Kottayam district. But when we check the butterfly diversity of other areas, for example, from Ernakulam district, there are 290 butterflies. From Pathanamthitta district also, researchers have identified the 280 species of butterfly. From Idukki district, they have identified 350 species of butterfly. So from the neighborhood of Kottayam district, scientists have discovered that so many species of butterfly. Why then only very few studies are there? There could be a lot of reasons for that. One reason is that the scientists or researchers who have conducted the study in Kottayam district may not be very honest. They may not have conducted a detailed study. There is one possibility. So they have not conducted a deeper study. They have not made a deeper exploration, so that they could get only a few studies. And they reported that this is what is known. That is one possibility. Another possibility is that they may not have visited all the areas. Like going to forest, going to different areas. So if instead they have limited their study only to the urban areas, then they may not be able to get many species. So this is how you will be able to prove that there are some mistakes in the previous study. So then identify area. So prior scholarship to prevent duplication of effort. In science, duplication of research is not encouraged. For example, I told you that 300 species of butterflies are known in Kottayam. and from different areas of Kerala also 300 species of butterflies are only known. Then if you are going to repeat the same study again, then there is no meaning in that. There is no benefit to this community. The science is not benefiting. The society is not getting any benefit. So such kind of work are not generally encouraged. Because even you may think, I am doing a study like that. What is your problem? Actually, when you are doing an individual study, you are actually utilizing the resources of several institutions. Without, you cannot do a work like that alone individually. With your resources at home, it may not be always possible. So research generally don't encourage duplication or repetition of work. It's simply a waste of work. So what is known, and there is no meaning in finding that this is what is known already. Right? So it's simply a waste of time. So that is why duplication of effort should be discouraged. The importance of review of literature. One important thing is that it is very time consuming. For example, going to the study about the butterfly, you have checked that around 25 previous papers have been published. Now, one problem earlier researchers were facing is that when I was doing the PhD, there was no internet at that time. And we used to visit libraries in different parts of India, like going to Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, and Trivandrum, different areas of India we have to visit. The problem is that now if you want to get an information about a butterfly, so you simply put a keyword into the Google search, it will bring the butterfly a list of previous work. So now earlier and most of the time most of the soft copies of most of this literature are also available from the internet itself. But earlier that was not the case. Earlier there was no internet and getting these papers are very difficult. Sometimes we have to visit the libraries in different areas of Kerala, different areas of India. Some of the papers I used to contact the librarian in Oxford University, and when I send a request, we have to pay the amount in pound. Then getting the pound itself is a difficulty. So getting a paper itself may sometimes take 2-3 months. Even if you send a request letter to the librarian there, only after 3 months or 4 months I will be getting the photostat copy of that paper. So that is how we used to collect it. So that is why reviewing the report, because unless you get the 25 papers, your literature study is incomplete. You got only 23 papers. You didn't get 2 remaining papers. How do you know that what is mentioned that 2 remaining paper? Without getting that 2 remaining paper, if you conduct your study and publish a study, and it is going to an expert who is having that 2 remaining paper, he will tell that this is simply a duplication. This work has been reported by in this 24th and 25th paper. Then you will be in a problem, and all your work, all the time you spend will be wasted. So this is the problem. So unless you make a complete study of the literature, you will be always having this problem. So it is always rewarding, because if you make a complete study, it is always giving you the benefit. Following are the main importance of literature review. One, we have already talked all this. It is improving the methodology. How well you, what are the methods used by previous researchers? If you know about that, it is very good for you, so that you can improve the methods that you are going to use. What are, for example, they used to take only photos of butterflies using normal lenses. Nowadays, more advanced photographic lenses are there, and most of the cameras are also with the GPS location. So you don't need to take photos using normal GPS. There are the other GPS devices. You simply take a photo. The photo itself will be containing the GPS location, and you transfer it to a certain map that will immediately show what is a particular location. So that kind of advanced technology are now available. So this is how we can improve the methodology. Then another advantage is that it can focus on the research problem. The review of literature could help you to shape your research, because if you make a very detailed, thorough study on the review, that will help you to get more ideas, more gaps in literature, and at the same time, it also improves the quality of your research. Then, so this is what is, then cater to the knowledge base of research. One of the most important objectives of research review is to ensure that you read widely around the subject in which you intend to conduct your research. That is, when you, for example, when you go to the researchers, you know the researchers are sitting there. What they are doing, 90% of the time you see them sitting before the computer. 10% of the time also they will be sitting in the computer with the microscope. Why this is like, this is the way research is in progress. Because they are checking what is known, what is the scope, what kind of information and other scientists have discovered, how to analyze my present finding with the findings of other researchers. Because they might have discovered a species. To identify that species, it may be sometimes a non-species. It may be sometimes an unknown, new species. To prove that it is a new species, they have to go through a certain procedure. Normally the procedure is that taking detailed photos of the species, then making a detailed description of the species, then we have to publish it in a journal. All these will be taking a lot of time. So, or maybe 10% or 20% time they will be actually doing the physical work. 80% of the time they will be spending time with the computer, reading some information or writing some data or analyzing some information. So this is how the research is going on. It is fundamental that you know what others are doing in your field of interest, as well as understanding theories that have been put forward and gaps that exist in the particular area. For example, what happens is that you are studying about the butterflies or Kottayam district, and it's a PhD work. Now you are only after spending 5 years, you came to know that another person is also doing the same work, and he or she is going to submit the PhD before you. Then what will be your situation? It's simply a repetition of work. When they have submitted that PhD, and you are submitting the PhD work after 1 year, immediately a team of experts will say that this is a copy, and you are going to face this kind of problem. So when you are doing a research, normally there is a committee of experts called doctoral committee. Then they will be having a group of scientists, most of the time mainly from zoology area. They will check whether anybody has done a work like this previously. Then what is your suggestion to make a difference in your objective or in your methodology? What new information you are going to provide? Unless they feel that a new information is not provided, they will not allow. And according to the rules of university, if there are two similar types, for example, butterfly diversity of Kottayam district in Kerala, it's a title of your type. Then from another university, for example, Calicut University, there is also another title, Butterfly Diversity of Kottayam District in Kerala. Two similar titles. Then what university do? Both theses will be rejected. That immediately that thesis, the PhD is cancelled. It's simply a duplicate. So there is an important rule that the title should not be same. It's one important rule the PhD scholars have to pick. Title should never be same. There should be at least a minor difference, at least in a word. For example, sometimes what they will be, for example, they will be modifying the title in different way. For example, butterfly diversity of Kottayam district based on climate data. The work is same, but you are putting a new information. So, based on this information, every title in a PhD is always somehow made slightly different. Then next aspect is the conceptualizing the research finding. For example, if you know what is already known, finding answer may be very easy. So that is the advantage of making a detailed study about the research finding. Then ensure novelty in your work. This is what I have mentioned. Only if you made a thorough study of your work, you will be able to make sure that your work is bringing a new knowledge to the science. So that novelty or new information is very important and in research. So this is an idea of how the research review of literature is conducted, and that is the importance of review of literature. And next class we will study about how the gaps in literature are discovered. So today we will stop here. Now you take down